My name is Sophie Wallace, and this is my co-host Tyler Hollander.
Thank you, Snowfie. Today we are presenting our Supreme Court bracket, so let's get right into it.
Starting off in this region of the bracket, we have cases regarding the United States Constitution.
In the very first round, we have Marbury v. Madison facing McCulloch v. Maryland. Madison was about establishing judicial review in the United States, while McCulloch v. Maryland was the landmark case defining the scope of Congress's legislative power in relation to state legislatures. We have McCulloch v. Maryland moving on due to its relevance.
Next up, we have Roe v. Wade. This was a landmark decision of the Supreme Court on the issue of the constitutionality of abortion laws. Gibbons v. Ogden stated that the power to regulate interstate commerce included the power to regulate navigation. Due to the irrelevance of Gibbons v. Ogden, we have Roe v. Wade moving on to the Sweet 16.
Next up, we have the United States v. Nixon and Gitlow v. New York. The United States v. Nixon rose from the Watergate scandal decision against President Nixon, ordering him to deliver tape recordings and other subpoena materials to a federal court. Gitlow v. New York was the case regarding the 14th Amendment, protecting the First Amendment's free speech. In this round, we have Nixon moving on for its significance in the Watergate scandal.
The final round is United States v. Lopez and Gideon v. Wainwright. United States v. Lopez was the first United States Supreme Court case since the New Deal to set limits to Congress's power under the Commerce Clause. Gideon v. Wainwright is the case that ruled that the Constitution requires the states to provide defense attorneys to criminal defendants. We have United States v. Lopez winning this due to its immediate impact to the government.
In our next conference, we have civil rights cases.
Starting the region off, we have Brown v. Board against Regents of University of California v. Bakke. Regents of University of California v. Bakke was about a white man getting denied from UC Davis over affirmative action, while Brown v. Board dealt with segregation in schools.
In upset victory, we have Regents of University of California v. Bakke winning because of its relevance to today's time and students.
The next matchup is Dred Scott v. Sanford in Loving v. Virginia. Loving v. Virginia is a landmark civil rights decision striking down all interracial marriage laws. Dred Scott v. Sanford was the court ruling that African Americans were not American citizens and could not sue in federal court.
Due to the public perception of the case, we have Dred Scott v. Sanford winning.
The third matchup of this region includes Obergefell v. Hodges and Mape v. Ohio. Mape v. Ohio was the case that illegal search and use of evidence cannot be used against one in court. Obergefell v. Hodges was the case protecting same-sex marriage. Because of the relevance, Obergefell v. Hodges wins this matchup.
The final matchup of the civil rights region is Plessy v. Ferguson and Heart of the Atlantic v. United States. Plessy v. Ferguson advanced the controversial separate but equal doctrine, while Heart of the Atlantic v. United States was about public businesses not being able to discriminate on race.
In this nail-biter, we have put Plessy v. Ferguson taking the cake for its extreme historical importance.
The third region of this battle royale madness, we have the Bill of Rights cases. Let's see who takes this victory royale.
First up, we have District of Columbia v. Heller and Engel v. Vitale. Engel v. Vitale was the case regarding school prayer and its constitutionality, while the District of Columbia v. Heller was about an individual's right to owning a firearm. Because of the importance of the Second Amendment, we obviously have Columbia v. Heller winning.
Next up, Schenck v. United States takes on Lemon v. Kurtzman. Schenck v. United States dealt with the enforcement of the Espionage Act, and Lemon v. Kurtzman was debating the constitutionality of Pennsylvania's non-public elementary and secondary education act. In a slight upset, we have put Lemon v. Kurtzman winning for its immediate impact at this time.
We also have Tinker v. Des Moines taking on New York Times v. Sullivan. New York Times is a huge landmark case that established the actual malice standard for press reporting. We have Tinker v. Des Moines winning over this case because Tinker regards First Amendment rights of students in public schools.
In our last battle for this region, we have the case regarding flag burning, Texas v. Johnson, facing the First Amendment freedom of press case, New York Times v. Sullivan. Due to public perception of this case, we have Texas v. Johnson moving on to the Sweet 16.
In our last and final region, we have political process cases. This region deals with election rules, gerrymandering, and more.
The first battle of the region is Citizens United v. FEC and Griswold v. Connecticut. We have Citizens United v. FEC moving on over Griswold v. Connecticut because Citizens United is a landmark case regarding campaign finance.
Next up, we have Bush v. Gore and Shelby County v. Holder. Bush v. Gore is going to take this round because its relation to the 2000 election had a huge immediate impact. Shelby County v. Holder's debate over the Voting Rights Act could not hold up against Bush v. Gore.
Next, Baker v. Carr is up against Buckley v. Vallejo. Buckley v. Vallejo says that the First Amendment protects campaign spending. Baker v. Carr is about the representation in each district. Baker v. Carr will take this round over its stare decisis value.
In our last first-round battle, we have decided to put Korematsu v. United States winning over Miranda v. Arizona. This is because Korematsu v. United States dealt with the massively controversial Japanese relocation camps. This case was extremely important, so it will move on to the Sweet 16.
Now on to the Sweet 16, starting with the Constitution region.
We have Marbury v. Madison versus United States v. Lopez. Next, we have United States v. Nixon versus Roe v. Wade.
Marbury v. Madison wins because judicial review is an essential part of our court system. And United States v. Nixon moves on due to its significance for the time and public knowledge of the Watergate scandal. We now have the Bill of Rights region, including University of California v. Bakke against Obergefell v. Hodges, and Dred Scott v. Sanford battling Plessy v. Ferguson.
The University of California v. Bakke takes the win against Obergefell v. Hodges because of how prominent it is to students in this day and age. Plessy v. Ferguson wins over Dred Scott v. Sanford due to the historical importance of the separate but equal clause. Now we have the third region, the civil rights cases. We have the District of Columbia v. Heller defeating Texas v. Johnson, and we also have Tinker v. Des Moines versus Schenck v. United States.
The District of Columbia v. Heller takes the cake on this one, due to modern interpretation and the controversy of the Second Amendment. Then we have Schenck v. United States taking the dub because of its relevance to students and their rights in public schools. Next, we have the political process region, with battles including Citizens United v. FEC against Miranda v. Arizona. In the last Sweet 16 battle, we have Baker v. Carr against Bush v. Gore.
Citizens United v. FEC wins against Miranda v. Arizona because campaign finance is very prevalent in modern times. Bush v. Gore wins over Baker v. Carr because of the immediate impact of the 2000 election on the United States.
For the Elite Eight, we have Nikolai Sampson Urban filling in for Sophie Wallace while she's in the bathroom.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Elite Eight. In the Constitution region, we have U.S. vs. Nixon defeating Marbury vs. Madison because of the massive implications of Nixon's case.
Then we have University of California v. Bakke beating Plessy v. Ferguson because of its relevance to us as students applying for colleges and what we should expect as outcomes for us.
In the Civil Rights region, we have Schenck vs. U.S. beating District of Columbia because of the importance of the Espionage Act to all of America.
And lastly, we have Bush v. Gore beating Citizens United v. FEC because of its massive importance in the 2000 election. Sorry, Nikolai. Sophie's taking a while in there.
In the Final Four, we have University of California beating Nixon for reasons stated before to make it into the finals.
Schenck v. United States takes a heartbreaking loss to Bush v. Gore in the Final Four. Bush v. Gore has had a lasting impact on the way elections run to this day. Therefore, it takes a W on this one.
In the finals, we have University of California winning it all for its affirmative action background. This has been Nikolai Sampson Urban.
Sophie,
And Tyler.
thanks for watching.
Yeah!